Catus. Maximus here was organizing my drill bits until I forgot I had these and never made a video. This is a SteeleX brand. This is just one of those off brands which I can't remember a lot of other brands right now, but they're all these off brands that sell super budget Chinese tools and try to, make a few bucks in the American market. They're really terrible because they're SteeleX fine tools. What's even worse is that they're made in China, but then they have this little icon of the United States. That is not a picture of China. That's what the U.S. looks like. I guess, I don't know if they're trying to intentionally fool people. Anyway, these things were sold on Amazon until just a couple years ago, so I guess they've had too many complaints. These things are really terrible brad point drill bits. The only thing is that when I bought them, they were 15 bucks for this 4-piece set. They have super tiny 3/8 inch shanks, no flats, and you're getting a 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, and 1 inch. That's kind of how these 4-piece jumbo sets work. These, I believe, are carbon steel. They're not even high-speed steel. I barely use them. They are just not ground very well, and they just don't work very well. They do have a relief angle there, but the brad point itself is just really blunt, and you have to put a lot of force into it. And I want to do a comparison. What I have here is a French-made brad point. These are for soft materials and woods, just for making fast and relatively clean holes and for being cheaper than, twist drills. And they're supposed to be easier. They're kind of like provide smoother and straighter holes than a spade bit, because you actually have like a drill bit which is aligning, stays aligned in the entire hole while still drilling very fast. But if we look at this French unit here, we can see the French unit has just a much, much smaller brad point, even though it is a little dinged up here. We can also see that they have a second, not just a relief angle here, where it's actually curved and very aggressive. If we compare both of these here, you can see how this is just a flat grind, where this is actually a curved grind. That makes a big difference. The brad point on the French-made one is just way smaller, so it's easier to push in the material. And then we have a secondary relief. You can see this really nice curvature here and on the other flute, where these are just kind of harfy. And so that's the whole purpose. It's not really, it's to say, stay away from SteeleX products. They're cheap, but it's for a reason. They're just terrible. And secondly, I don't talk about brad point drills very much, and so this is just an opportunity to show what a premium, like in this case, French one, versus a terrible Chinese one. We can see that like the side fluting here is just much thicker, maintains a bit more and a bit better alignment. Anyway, I'll do a little drill test here and then be done with it. I'll go and compare both these 1-inch bits, the Chinese SteeleX and then this French-made one. Alright, so here we are with the Chinese one. I'll actually try not having my arm in the way this time. See if I can even drill through this. A lot of people, including myself, that terrible brad point, you just have to press really hard. Clearing out the chips at least. Yeah, it's just ridiculous how hard I have to press on this thing. Let's... It's insane. Really? This is why you don't buy cheap brad points, because you have to spend a bunch of time with a freaking die grinder trying to grind down the tip of the brad point. So you don't have to stand on the damn tool. There we go. And yeah, this DCK drill is not great. Not a ton of power in this thing. Should also mention the shank seemed mighty soft. It really, I just filed off this, it raised some big old burrs. It really, that chuck teeth really, when it slipped just a couple times, it's really ate it up. Alright, we'll try this French one, even though the tip is a little dinged up. I spent a moment with the file to try to sharpen it, but it's just so much smaller of a brad point. So much better geometry. Let's see how it does in the with the junky drill. I think you could tell way easier, way better. Let's take a look at the hole quality here. More chunkier breakout there. But I just had to press so dang hard. This is what the cheesy SteeleX, and see, the hole is a bit wallowed out. It's just pressing so hard. Just having such trouble keeping it going straight. You can just see, but nonetheless, I mean, this hole was done with a spade bit, and this is still a lot smoother, even with a cheesy brad point. So cheesy brad, what? Come on, finger. Cheesy brad point there. Here's the French one, because it just cuts so much better. The hole is just much straighter. Versus this one where I just had so many issues trying to get it to go straight. A nice brad point makes a nice, fine, pretty precise hole in wood. So that's my review of these SteeleX. That's why I titled the video Friends Don't Let Friends Buy Cheap Brad Point Drill Bits. These cheap brad point drill bits don't really work for the intended purpose, which is fast, clean, straight holes in wood as an alternative to things like spade bits, self-feed bits, Forstner bits, which you can use in hand drills, but they don't drill straight. They're meant for drill presses. Twist drills, really you'd use Silver and Deming drills, because those are going to be the only ones with turn down shanks to drill in the wood, but they're twist drills and they're going to have a pretty blunt tip, although you can get split tip ones. You're still going to be pressing with a lot of force. And so that's the deal. That's why brad points exist, is because they're really good at drilling deep, straight holes. Or auger bits. Auger bits work pretty well for straight, deep holes, but they are kind of rough. I mean, that's the whole point. A brad point is supposed to make clean holes with pretty precise sizing in wood, but you really want a nice one like this French one. This French one even has the tips are a bit dinged up. This tip is a bit dinged up, and it's still just dramatically outperformed what was basically a brand new, really, oh my goodness. You can see the tips. This must be like some super soft steel. This is crazy. Look what drilling that wood did to the tips. There's actually little like flats on them. That's crazy. This must be like some ultra soft steel. As a matter of fact, that's so bad. Drilling through wood and having a bit do this, where it actually wore a little flat. I mean, that's like just, it's like mild, it's like almost mild steel. I mean, these are so bad that they're useless. I'm going to end up donating these because they're pointless. I have Silver and Deming drill bits in the smaller sizes, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8. Those are small enough where you can get away with using a Silver and Deming twist drill. And then I have this French 1-inch unit, and obviously the tips, after they were already a little bit dinged up, really haven't experienced any additional wear. So if you're ever looking at brad point drill bits, avoid really cheap ones because they basically can't even do the job. Anyway, really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.